Okay guys, episode 1, we're doing this thing. I've got a long, storied, decorated history with Lord of the Rings Online. This is the MMO of MMOs for me. Goose, you haven't played it in 4 years, what are you talking about? That's a great point, and I'll get to that. But first let me tell you about this series I'm starting. Have you guys noticed a trend on my channel where I disappear for months at a time? Well, me too. And the reason for this is the videos I release, those long impressions videos, take anywhere between 30 to 70 hours to make, and that Eve video, that was a fun one to make, but I almost sacrificed my goldfish to the gods so they'd give me the power to edit faster. Don't worry, I didn't. Which is almost ironic, because the bigger fish I named Jaws ate him a day later. So what I've decided to do going forward is, I'm going to release 2 to 3 episodes of me playing an MMO before I release the eventual impressions video for it. And these videos, like the one you're watching now, will have a narration kind of style to them, so I'll be talking over gameplay and explaining what's happening in the video, making a joke or two along the way, and lastly, giving my feelings on the game so far at the end of the video, just like a quick recap. So then you guys can hear my thought process and see if it has changed when I hit my final review. Exciting stuff, yes?
Yo, I overheard, and that doesn't sound exciting, like, at all.
You're not exciting, Timmy! You're not exciting! Who even still names their kid Timmy? Like, come on! I mean, let me tell you who. It's parents who think their kid's gonna be a loser! Roommates, am I right? Okay, let's kick this thing off. Hold the fudge up, Goose. The people were told last video there was a giveaway, and I just wanted to follow up with you guys and say I'll be doing that giveaway in May of next year, so there's still time to sign up. Just kidding, we're doing it now. So who's gonna win? Oh, you already drew the name from the hat?
Yeah.
Why would you? I wasn't even done the... The winner is Stephen Baughman. You have won a free month of Eve. To find out how to collect your super shiny prize, check out the description of the video. And thank you so much to all of you who participated. More giveaways will be coming down the line. Alright, let's get after Lord of the Rings Online. So like I said, it's been a minute since I've played LOTRO, but when I played back in the day, I would go for like 4 to 10 hours a day. Succeeding in my virtual life was more important to me than succeeding in stupid, practical stuff like my grades back in my teen years. Holy shit, would I regret that. But if I were to guess how many hours I poured into this game, I'd guess about 3,000 of them with a side of high school virgin, and for this reason, I expected my transition back into Middle-earth to be a smooth one. I was about to continue my already storied career as a dwarf champion with ease. And so I booted up my dwarf, my main, as the MMO players would say, and I was excited as hell. This is a character I've had for over a decade, and for half of that, I played him hard. And once again, this epic force of fury, of abominable will, would be unleashed upon the literally shit-forged Uruk-hais of Middle-earth. The game loads. At this point, my excitement is peaking. Here we go. Boom! Game is loaded! Oh, you're cute! Hold up. Where have I spawned? Where have I spawned? I'm in the middle of a lake. It's whatever. It is what it is. The fuck are you looking at? A loser. They're looking at a loser stuck in the middle of a lake, that's who. Of course I'd leave my guy in the middle of a lake with no foreseeable way out before I logged off last time. Honestly, this is probably why I quit last time. I probably just couldn't find my way out of here. But even after this less than ideal start, the nostalgia came flooding back. Just seeing my character, just seeing this UI, these graphics, which I think have actually held up nicely, especially with the high quality upgrade option, all of the feels hit me hard. And at first glance, nothing seemed different. Which led me to wondering, why did I quit again? I remember I quit around the time when the Riders of Rohan expansion came out, and I couldn't really remember why. But then it all came crashing back to me in its glorious, ice skating, bumper cart looking form. Holy shit, this horse got bit on the ass by a raccoon, and this bitch got rabies pulsing through his veins, cause I can't control him. Fuck, oh my gosh. Where is the ice on the ground? Where? Why does the ground suddenly turn into a slip and slide when I get on my horse? Stable Master, hi. You have no idea how hard it was to get to you. I need to get to Parth Galen. Now I heard you're a man of stature. A man who has normal horses. Please give me one of those, or I'm gonna take mine out back like a scene straight out of Napoleon Dynamite. Gosh damn it, Timmy! That's the edge of a cliff. What are you doing? This fucking... Oh, I just drowned my horse. My fat dwarf ass just crushed my horse into the depths of the sea. God damn! Okay, so after belly flopping my horse in the lake back there, I made it to my next destination called Elfengulls. The spelling is open for interpretation, but just before this happened, Goose got some bad news. Hi, that's me. I'm Goose. I noticed my skill bar was completely void of skills. When I stopped playing this game the last time, I obviously had this thing packed to its limit with skills, because how do you think Poppy Goose was one of the top DPSers back in his heyday? He had a wicked set of skills. And I checked my skill window and they were missing from there too. Long story short, I found out they introduced a new skill system which required me to completely retrait my character. But I also probably found out the worst news I've ever heard in my life. Champions are practically obsolete for raiding. That's right, it just hit what the fuck o'clock. So upon hearing this news, I was devastated. The champion that was happily welcomed into raids back in the day would be as welcome in a raid nowadays as a 25-year-old dude would be into the Girl Guides. And I know, I've tried, and they're a very exclusive bunch. I thought membership might get me a discount on their cookies. According to my kinmates, yes, I'm still in a kinship. Surprisingly, they hadn't kicked me for inactivity, but yeah, they would continue to tell me how champions are rarely taken for the main endgame raids or group content. Apparently, they're still effective just for the older raids, but not the newer endgame stuff. And then, words were said that I could never unsee. They told me to start a new character. New class. No more Aran von Burik, the character that's been with me for every step of my LOTRO life. The thing with me is, I've never been an alt guy in MMOs. I hate creating alts. I've always seen it like, why would I create a new character when I could just work up on making this current one the best he can be? Like, MMOs are a huge time investment, and even just getting one character all caught up, and then keeping them caught up with the in-game updates and new content, yeah, I'd rather just try to go ham on one character, but I know most people like to have alts so they can experience more classes of the game, but I've never been a guy to do that, which is weird and I know it, so in that moment I decided I would keep playing my champ. But boy oh boy, what a dumb situation in an MMO this old, that certain classes can still be made obsolete from the best, most complex content in the game. How can that still happen when the game has been out this long? Blows my mind, but let's continue on with the adventure. Better than any raid. Better than any quest or region, or even entire expansion pack, is the chicken room.
So many fat, plump chickens.
Okay, fine, I'll dance. Before I continue to my quest objectives, I addressed my inventory situation, which was dangerously looking like how the inside of my girlfriend's purse looks. That sounded like a line from the Assumption song. Holy shit, it's like going deep sea diving to find a toothpick looking through that thing. When your girlfriend asks you to grab something out of her purse, the last words that should come out of your mouth should be, "Sure, babe. You got it, babe. Okay, babe." Don't do it! So I start shoveling this shit out of my inventory because I didn't have any space, and it wasn't too hard to do because I didn't even know what any of that stuff was. It's been so long. So I start offloading these punctured shields and speckled ears and scales off my character like Escobar with the cocainum. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, I'm getting some good money for these. These are worth so much. Feeling great about my money situation, I head over to the Thane, but this board catches my eye. I approach the board, do a little clicky click on it. Yeah, all that shit I sold off was for these tasks that give the easiest XP ever. Damn it, Goose! I anxiously run back to the supplier, praying he has a buyback option. Alas, he did, and I graciously requested my items back, and apologized to him for any inconvenience I may have caused.
Give me my stuff back, bitch!
As I kept playing, it began to dawn on me why I might have started to step away from the game. The Rohan expansion brought this bizarre horse riding system to the game that, while it was a way more personal approach to having a mount that I don't think other MMOs have even slightly replicated, I was bothered by how sloppily it was integrated. Using this horse is like how I imagine getting a concussion and then immediately trying to figure out a Rubik's Cube would go. And on top of that, there's two other big reasons I quit. I think I just got burned out on the game. Lord of the Rings Online back in the day was a hell of a grind, like back when I was single and didn't work full time and was single, I had plenty of hours every day to pour into LOTRO, and so I did. I was that guy that told his bros that he couldn't make it out because he has another date, and that date was 100% of the time with a cute little dwarf named Aran von Burik. So yes, the burnout hit hard, which is ironic because when I quit is when I believe the game started to get more casual, and even more ironically, that is why I've been hesitant to get back into LOTRO nowadays. Once you guys have gotten into that intense shit, the hardcore part of an MMO, like weekly raiding with a top tier kinship or guild, it's hard to be any player but that kind of player. player. And what makes it worse is, I've never in my life enjoyed an MMO more than I have LOTRO during my raiding days. The friendships I formed, the amazing leader of our kinship, those long nights raiding, and those longer days preparing to be raid ready with them, it was happening at a point in my life where, and excuse the quick change in tone in this video, but I was fairly depressed. But yeah, goofing around with my kinmates, staying up late, playing a game that I already loved because it's Lord of the Rings, but loved even more so because of these people, that really helped me in a time where I needed it. And to top it off, we crushed raid content. The Barad Guldur raid, one of the hardest raids to be released for this game in my opinion. My kinship was the third one to complete the entire raid in our server, Landroval. As far as gaming memories go, the Lord of the Rings Online is, without a second thought, the most impactful and memorable game I've ever played, and I think I will ever play. Halo 3 is a close second, but LOTRO holds that torch. Which brings me to the second reason I quit and didn't come back. I was scared I'd return and it wouldn't be as amazing as I remembered it. And I'm kind of worried that's the case. But alas, what made me come back was because of A, the nostalgia I've been feeling for this game for years now, and B, the world and world building. LOTRO has one of the most beautifully realized worlds, and the attention to detail to create a true Middle-earth feel are so evident literally everywhere you go. And on top of that, the stories, the main storyline, the quests, there's so many of these that aid in developing the lore of Middle-earth that you will really feel like you're a part of this epic, chaotic, and beautiful world that we got to see in the movies or read about. So my goal was to hit level 82 before creating my first episode. A tough feat because quests in Rohan feel weirdly sparse, like I'd only have 2 to 3 of them at a time. I completed a bunch of task quests, which are a quick way to get a bit of XP by just looting items off of the enemies you kill and trading them in, but the bulk of XP comes from the side and main quests. Unfortunately for me, I seem to have outleveled the quests that I had in my journal when I last played, so I should be doing content at my level, but I just couldn't find other quests, so I had to stick to doing these until I got to the next town, in the hopes it'd give higher level content. It has not yet. So I admittedly started getting a bit frustrated, maybe because I haven't played an MMO this fetch questy in a while, but I felt like the quests were giving very little XP, and on top of that, I wasn't seeing any other players in my region. And I've read on a lot of forum posts that pretty much all the remaining players are already max level, so I was getting annoyed because it was taking hours per level and I have 40 to go at this point. I just want to hit max level so I can play with other players, but I also don't want to buy a max level boost because I'm too much of a completion hoe to not go crazy about all that content I skipped. That's something worth noting about me and MMOs, probably the most dangerous trait to have as an MMO player because these are massive games. I'm a completionist, like obsessively. Back in the Xbox 360 glory days, I was an achievement hunter, as us cool kids called ourselves. Haha, so cool, so many friends. But I wanted to try and get max gamer score for every single game I had. Man, I straight up lost friends when there'd be times they'd play a new game on my profile because once you play a game on your profile and unlock some achievements for it, you can't remove it. So I was just like, oh my gosh, this is another game I have to get all the achievements on. But on the inside, I was kind of like, yes, add more games, let's do this. So you can imagine how well that plays out in MMOs, or in this case, LOTRO. I am obsessed with earning every title, finishing every single dungeon, doing every single deed in the game. There was no way I was able to get that max level boost. But I was sick of grinding repetitive quest objectives. What to do? What to do? And then it hit me. A middle ground. XP boosters. Yeah. Yeah. XP boosters. So there was this one point where I actually had 5 quests in my journal, and so an idea struck. I'm gonna complete all of these puppies and buy an XP booster and cash them all in. It's one thing to hand in a bunch of completed quests at once. You MMO players know what I'm talking about. You feel like the baddest of asses. But now with an XP booster too, oh girl, this is gonna be a hefty addition to the skill XP, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it didn't add as much XP as I thought. But yeah, I had that going for me. I don't know, man, this game just had something missing for me this time around. Like, I'd level up and be like, here we go again, gotta repeat the process, whereas before when I'd play LOTRO, I'd just be excited to reach a new level. I think the combo of finding out that the champions are largely obsolete for endgame, combined with the Rohan region, which feels huge but kind of boring because I think they made it so huge and kind of barren to accommodate mounted combat, but as a result it doesn't feel as packed with detail and rich on immersion as other regions in the world, as well as the implementation of the cash shop store, which feels overwhelmingly shoved into your face. I think all of these factors affected my return a fair bit. But anyways, after grinding quests in the first region, Parth Galen, and then in the Norcrofts, which included the town of Elthingels and Cliving, I decided I was getting burned out already on the quests, so I hopped over to Skirmishes, which are instances that provide their own form of rewards that can be used to acquire all sorts of items. It could be armor, weapons, relics, food and potions, you name it. Yeah, I think I was just so burned out from the repetitive quests that even the Skirmishes didn't do anything for me this time around, because they all essentially boil down to just defeating waves of enemies. I decided it was time to take a break and hit the grind again when I felt refreshed. So on that note, let's talk about my feelings on LOTRO so far. Leveling takes a long time, and this can be blamed on the fact that I've out-leveled the quests a bit, so I'm not writing it off as a nasty grind or anything just yet, but where in the tarnation can I find quests that are my level? I'm hoping to figure this out because getting XP is taking hours per level. It took me like 3.5 hours to get from level 79 to 80, and I still have 40 more levels to go, and I already feel like these repetitive quests are wearing on me a bit. So sure, they have cool quest dialogue, but they're just like the bread of the sandwich, and the fetch questy parts are the meat, if you know what I'm saying. If any current players have tips for me on this, please let me know. And on that note, the in-game store seems like it can allow players to skip tons of content, not just the leveling grind. Like every single place in this game where there is progression, where your character can get better, there's an option in the store to speed that up. And you can literally speed up progress on every freaking thing. Your character, his weapon effectiveness, aka legendary XP gain, his horse, and then there's all the items like relics that you should be acquiring in-game, but nah, you can buy those too. I can be understanding enough to realize that LOTRO has been out for like 12 years. Lots of players that are still around are max level and doing that much more satisfying max level content, so you want to be pretty much able to play with the rest of the community so you can drop a fat stack of moolah to get there right away. But the game so far this time around has just felt a little bit soulless because of the in-your-face cash shop changes. I feel like they've added so many borderline intrusive cash shop incentives that felt somewhat immersion breaking because this cash shop wasn't a big part of the picture when I last played, but now the game is advertising it frequently, and it feels like it's advertising it any way it can for all the things it can be useful to the player for, which is like everything, so it's always in your face. But for me, that just kind of pulls me out of the experience, especially when I know how the game used to be. And I know that completing the deeds or completing certain activities give you LOTRO store points, but first of all, it takes a long time to earn anything worthwhile, and second, it's not even about the cost of the store products, it's the fact that it's even there in such a prominent and apparent form in terms of how it is integrated into actual gameplay. Like, your daily tasks will hit a limit that you can reset for money, you can fast travel to NPCs to complete a quest for money, you can get bonuses for your horse or unlock new cosmetic slots for money, etc, etc. It's just very in your face. And next up, the fetch quests are showing their age. It's got those very grindy fetch and kill quests, topped off with those quests getting you to go from NPC to NPC, back to the next NPC, and then back to the last guy, and then to the next guy, and then you're done. And these quests are pretty much spammed at you on repeat. Honestly, at this point, the only reason why I haven't bought the level boost from the in-game store is because I want to follow the storylines a bit. I'm also obsessed with the deeds and titles and all that stuff that come along with it. But yeah, especially the story, that's a huge reason why I loved LOTRO in the past. Next up, the horse riding hasn't gotten better and just looks and feels so janky and awkward. And to make matters worse, it feels required in a lot of scenarios. Also, apparently horseback riding gives you some unseen buff where your sword turns into more of a jousting pole. It'll look the exact same, but don't worry, there's an invisible 10 feet that got added to the end of it. It's really long now. See that warg you're trying to hit 10 feet away? Don't fear, my child, you can hit him. You can freaking hit him with your invisible jousting stick of doom. But now for a big positive. If you read each quest text, they all lend to the lore of the world, which is so cool. Never has quest dialogue in this game made me feel like it's there just for the purpose of being a fetch quest to give you XP. The dialogue for all NPCs offering quests is always pretty rich and makes sense in the context of what's going on in your particular area of Middle-earth. And newsflash, shit is hitting the fan in Middle-earth as frequently as fast as it takes this guy to confuse himself.
Walk me through that. Like I was
So these quests are always extremely refreshing to me, and I always enjoy reading the dialogue. Okay, and that's a wrap for this episode. I will be uploading probably 2 more before I release my final impressions video on LOTRO in its current state. Thank you guys so much for watching. Consider hitting that subscribe button. I'm trying to upload more regularly, as I've promised. And once again, thank you for all that love. That was on the Eve video. That is by far the most well-received video I've probably dropped on my channel, so I'm really grateful for that. Alright guys, smack the shit out of that subscribe button, the like button, and drop a comment if you're playing LOTRO and want to party up or something. Let's do it. Alright, take care.